Welcome to Christmas in July. For this video, I have put together a few of my 2024 Christmas videos, all gingerbread, of course. I hope that you enjoy watching all the beautiful decor that I set up last year and that you get some ideas for this year. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. That, so let's go ahead and start. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with the garland. So let's see how that's gonna look. get you a close-up now. You can't really see it from far away, but I love how they're turning out. So a lot of the green is popping out, which looks beautiful. So you can't really tell from the video, but let me see if you can tell by giving you a close-up. Okay, so I hope that was better doing the close-up. In person, they look really, really pretty. You can't appreciate it through the camera. So I'm going to now just look through just any gaps that I see and just put ornaments where I see that there's a little bit of gaps, but I still have here, let me bring you down. I still have a lot left. I still have a lot left, so that could be for the bigger tree that we're also gonna do. So let me just once again look from here. You can't see any gaps because you're a little bit far, but once you get close, I can see gaps. So let's just go ahead and add more ornaments and make it look even more fuller. Okay, for those gaps, I'm gonna go ahead and put some of these gingerbread cookies. Some are houses. I got these as well. So we're just gonna put those where I think we'll need it, where I see a little bit of gaps. And there they are. They turned out really, really beautiful. Let me get you a close-up and then we'll turn off the lights and turn on the Christmas tree lights so you can see the full effect. So let's go ahead and do that. I love, love, love. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of these beautiful gingerbread Christmas trees. Come back for part 2 as I do a beautiful display next to each one and we do the final touches on this area. Until next time, thank you so much. Are you ready for this? Are you ready to see how I decorated this beautiful gingerbread tree? I am so excited to show you how everything came out and how everything looks all together. I incorporated all the traditional colors to the gingerbread theme that I've been doing throughout the years, and I enjoyed it so much. There's so many beautiful pieces in the tree, so many beautiful ornaments, and of course all my gingerbread plushies and just all sorts of gingerbread items that I put up on the tree. And I think this is one, I want to say this is my number one favorite tree that I have set up this year so far. And I think from the other themes that I've done, even though they've been gingerbread, I think this is my favorite so far. And I just love how the traditional colors just look so beautiful incorporated with the gingerbread theme. So I hope that you enjoy watching this video and watching how I put together the tree this year. So grab a hot chocolate and let's watch how I decorated this beautiful gingerbread Christmas tree. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye. So I wanted to leave this side of the tree alone, but I can't help it. I want to add more. So I have the big Miss Claus that I got at Burlington, and I think that she's gonna go perfect there. So I already put 2 risers there, and a little stool. Well, that's not a riser, but I'm gonna use it as a riser, and then that little stool, because I want to put my train as well. So we'll see how it looks. I'm gonna try it. I don't know if that's how it's gonna stay, but we'll see. And look at how gorgeous she is. She goes perfect with the tree. And then I'm gonna put the train on that stool. I want to see if it's going to fit. So I'm gonna cover it with snow so it doesn't look like it's on the stool. Cover the stool. So here's a few snow blankets that I could use to cover it up. Okay, and then we're just gonna put snow in here for the gingies to sit on. Okay, yes, I think I like that. And then we'll put 2 little ones there. Okay, let's try these 2. Oh, that might be too big. Oh, no, I think she's fine. Let's see. Okay, I think I like that. Let me give you a close-up. Okay, and on the other side, I have the lantern, my big lantern that I just got this year on the Hobby Lobby big clearance sale. And I don't know if I'll put this video first where I did the DIY or not, but if not, it's coming up, or maybe I already put it up. I don't know what order I'm gonna do the DIY, but it's there and it turned out really pretty. So I really love it. But here's how everything looks. Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to decorate this tree like a gingerbread bakery theme. And right now I'm taking the lights out that it had. It was just a set of lights that came with the tree. I got this tree last year at the thrift store for $14, and as you can see, it's very sparse. And what I did is I added a garland around it so that it looked a little bit fuller. So you'll see right now, once I'm done taking the lights out, how it looks a little bit better. You can't really see because you're a little bit far away, but it's very, very sparse. And the garland did help, but it still was not as full as my other trees. But that's okay, because the power of fluffing the tree worked wonders. And here you go, you can see how it looks a little bit better with the garland on. And now I'm just adding the twinkle lights because I could not add another set of lights to connect, because the plug is on right behind the cabinet and it was making it hard to plug it in. So I just remove the other lights and put in the twinkle lights, and that looked a little bit better. And so I'm adding just a pre-made bow that I've had in my stash, and now we're just gonna add more mesh ribbon because this is gonna make it look more fuller, and it's gonna make the tree look a little bit better. Like I said, you can't see it from this angle, but the tree is very, very sparse, so this helped a little bit to get it in a good, to make it look a little bit better. So we're just gonna add the mesh ribbon, and then this tree is gonna have a lot of the gingerbread cookies, just everything that's bakery theme, along with gingerbread, of course. Just adding a little bit more ribbon and just making it look really full, and it turned out really, really pretty. So I hope that you enjoy watching the rest of the video and how I made this beautiful, how I decorated this beautiful gingerbread bakery theme tree that's right here in the kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Here I'm just showing you the various gingerbread cookies that I have that we're gonna add to the tree. So let's go ahead and do that. my Hobby Lobby tiered shelf. It's another favorite area to decorate, and this time I decided to do a little bit more. So I added a garland to it with some lights, and then I added a few picks on the top with the bow, and then these beautiful picks I added throughout the front, and I just love how it looks. I had this image in my head of how I wanted to decorate it, and it turned out better than what I had imagined. And once again, incorporating like a little gingerbread village to go along with the theme in the living room, and I just love how it turned out. Oh, this little guy fell down. Let's fix him. Yeah, I just love how it turned out, and it's just beautiful, and I really enjoy decorating it this time around. And I don't know, I wanted to put a tree here, and then maybe move this one into the kitchen. I don't know, I'm still not 100% sure where it's gonna go, because last year I had my Candyland theme tree here, and it just looked really pretty. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, if this is gonna stay here in the living room or just move around the corner to the kitchen. But it still looks beautiful, and I really enjoy decorating it and putting it together. So I hope that you enjoy watching how I created this beautiful little gingerbread village on my Hobby Lobby tier shelf. So let's go ahead and watch. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We'll see you next time. Okay, so here's the Hobby Lobby tier shelf that I love decorating, and we are going to do another sort of gingerbread village here. What I want to do is add this garland on these right here, the top, and then here, and the back as well. These are from Michael's. Long time ago. I got these on clearance for like a couple dollars. So this is 9 feet. I don't know if it'll be enough to go around. I'll eventually add some lights, but not today. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's what it looks like. I know it's a little funky right now, but let's trust the process. I think it's gonna look really cute once we have all the gingerbread decor there. I didn't have enough for the last one, but that's okay because it's gonna be covered anyway. So I just basically got the branches and just like wrap them around all these, and because I don't want too much like showing up, I just want enough to show the green, so that it kind of sort of looks like a tree, but not really. So let's see how it's gonna look. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is I don't like it and we just remove the garland, but I think it's gonna look cute. So let's give it a try, because I think from I think it's gonna look cute. So let's go ahead and give it a try. I think once I put the lights on, it's gonna look even better as well. So let's just go ahead and start decorating, and then I'll take you shelf by shelf. All right, it's time to do my tier tray. My tier tray has not been used for about 2 years, and this time I wanted to do one. So I think I'm gonna do just a mixture of all my Santas and gingerbread. So kind of sort of like continue the bakery theme in the kitchen. So that's what I want to do. So let's go ahead and start. I'm so excited. If you want to know where I got this tier tray, I got it on Amazon like back in 2020, and I don't recall where I got it from, but I paid I think $120 for it, which was a lot back then. That's when they were very popular, but now you can find them anywhere. But this one is pretty big, which is what I love, and I can fit a lot of stuff. So you'll see me just putting all kinds of things in there because it fits a lot of stuff, which is perfect for what I want to do. So let's go ahead and start.